The world of radio entertainment is no stranger to drama, but the recent controversy surrounding Jess Hilarious and The Breakfast Club has taken social media by storm. On March 18th, 2025, Jess Hilarious, the newest permanent host of the iconic radio show, went on an explosive Instagram Live rant that has left fans wondering if her tenure at the popular morning show might be coming to an abrupt end. Today, we're diving deep into what happened, why it happened, and what this means for the future of one of hip-hop's most influential radio platforms. For those who might not be familiar with the backstory, Jess Hilarious, born Jessica Moore, is a comedian and social media personality who rose to fame through her viral comedy skits. After years of guest appearances and a successful stint as a temporary host, Jess was officially named the permanent replacement for Angela Yee on The Breakfast Club in early 2024. This came after an extensive search following Yee's departure in 2022 to launch her own radio show, Way Up with Angela Yee. The transition seemed smooth at first. Jess brought her signature humor and unfiltered commentary to the show, creating a new dynamic with longtime hosts Charlamagne the God and DJ Envy. Ratings were solid, and the chemistry, while different from the original trio, seemed to be working. But behind the scenes, tensions were apparently brewing. Fast forward to March 2025. Jess recently returned from maternity leave, and that's when things started to unravel publicly. In her Instagram Live session, Jess didn't hold back, unleashing a torrent of frustrations about her experience with the show and her co-hosts. While she didn't explicitly name Charlamagne or DJ Envy, her references were clear enough for anyone familiar with the show. "I don't know how Angela Yee did it for 13 years, Jess said during her live stream. "That woman deserves all her flowers because the stuff I've been dealing with behind the scenes is crazy. People thought she was the problem, but now I'm seeing exactly why she wanted to leave." One of Jess's main grievances centered around feeling unsupported by her co-hosts when facing public criticism. She specifically mentioned an incident involving comedian Corey Holcomb, who apparently made disparaging comments about her being temporarily replaced during her maternity leave. According to Jess, neither Charlamagne nor DJ Envy came to her defense. "We're supposed to be a team, right? So why am I the only one defending myself when people come for me? When people attack the show, we all jump in. But when it's just me getting dragged, suddenly everyone's quiet," she vented. But the issue that seemed to trigger this public outburst was related to her temporary replacement, Loren LoRosa. Jess claimed she was blindsided upon returning from maternity leave, discovering that LoRosa had been filling in for her without proper communication from the team. She expressed feeling disrespected and kept out of the loop regarding decisions that directly affected her position. "I come back from having my baby, and it's like I'm walking into a whole different situation. Nobody told me anything. Nobody prepared me. And then I'm supposed to just smile and act like everything's cool. Nah, that's not how this works," Jess explained. The timing of this controversy is particularly interesting given The Breakfast Club's history. The show has been a staple in hip-hop culture for over a decade, known for its high-profile interviews and often controversial moments. When Angela Yee announced her departure in 2022, many speculated about the dynamics between the three original hosts. Yee had occasionally seemed sidelined in conversations or interviews, and there were rumors of tension, particularly between her and Charlamagne. Now, with Jess making similar complaints about feeling unsupported and isolated, patterns seem to be emerging that suggest structural issues within the show's format or behind-the-scenes culture. This raises questions about whether the problem lies with individual personalities or with the show's fundamental approach to its female hosts. It's worth noting that The Breakfast Club has faced criticism in the past for its treatment of certain topics, particularly those related to women's issues. Critics have pointed out instances where female guests were subjected to uncomfortable questions or commentary, and some have suggested that the show's male-dominated environment contributes to these problems. Despite her frustrations, Jess made it clear in her Instagram Live that she hasn't been fired and isn't planning to quit. "Let me make this clear, I'm not leaving the show. I'm just speaking my truth because I'm tired of pretending everything is perfect when it's not," she stated firmly. However, industry insiders are speculating about how long this arrangement can last. Radio shows, particularly ones as high-profile as The Breakfast Club, rely heavily on the chemistry between hosts. Once that trust and camaraderie are publicly fractured, it can be difficult to maintain the authentic banter that listeners tune in for. The response from iHeartRadio, which produces The Breakfast Club, has been notably absent so far. No official statement has been released addressing Jess's comments or the status of her position. Similarly, neither Charlamagne the God nor DJ Envy has publicly responded to her allegations, maintaining silence on their social media platforms and during subsequent broadcasts. This silence is telling in itself. In the past, when controversies have erupted involving The Breakfast Club, the hosts have typically addressed them head-on during the show. The fact that they're choosing not to engage with Jess's comments suggests either a strategic decision to let the situation cool down or perhaps an acknowledgement that there are indeed issues that need to be addressed internally before making public statements. Fan reactions have been mixed. Some are firmly Team Jess, applauding her for speaking her truth and pointing out what they see as a pattern of problematic behavior from the show's male hosts. Others feel she's being unprofessional by airing workplace grievances on social media rather than handling them privately. And of course, there are those who are simply enjoying the drama, eagerly awaiting the next development in what has become radio's hottest controversy of 2025. What makes this situation particularly complex is the intersection of personal and professional relationships. The Breakfast Club isn't just any workplace. It's a platform where hosts are expected to share personal opinions and experiences, creating a blurry line between their public and private personas. When tensions arise, they can't simply be compartmentalized as workplace issues because the workplace itself is built on personal authenticity. Jess's comments about Angela Yee are especially revealing. By saying, "I don't know how Angela Yee did it for 13 years, she's not only expressing solidarity with her predecessor, but also suggesting that there are long-standing issues within the show's culture that predate her arrival. This adds credibility to her complaints as they appear to be part of a pattern rather than isolated incidents. The reference to Loren LoRosa is also significant. In her Instagram Live, Jess admitted that she initially disliked LaRosa's presence, but later realized her frustration was more about how the situation was handled by the show's management and her co-hosts. "I don't have a problem with Loren personally," Jess clarified. "My issue is with how I was treated in the process. Nobody communicated with me, nobody respected me enough to keep me in the loop." This distinction is important because it shifts the focus from personal drama between two women, a narrative that would play into stereotypes about female rivalry, to a more substantive critique of workplace practices and professional respect. Jess is essentially arguing that her grievances aren't about jealousy or insecurity, but about basic professional courtesy and team solidarity. So what happens next? There are several possible outcomes to this situation. The first and perhaps most likely is that all parties will attempt to smooth things over publicly while working through their issues behind the scenes. Radio is, after all, a business, and The Breakfast Club remains a valuable property for iHeartRadio. There's a strong financial incentive to maintain the status quo if possible. Another possibility is that this controversy marks the beginning of the end for Jess's tenure at The Breakfast Club. If the relationship has been irreparably damaged, we might see a mutual parting of ways presented as an amicable decision. This would allow the show to begin searching for yet another replacement while Jess pursues other opportunities that might better align with her expectations of workplace support. A third scenario, though less likely, is that this controversy could prompt more significant changes to The Breakfast Club's format or approach. If iHeartRadio recognizes that there might be structural issues affecting how female hosts are integrated into the show, they might take this opportunity to reassess and potentially restructure certain aspects of the program. Whatever happens, this controversy has already accomplished something significant. It's opened up a conversation about workplace dynamics in entertainment, particularly for women in male-dominated spaces. By speaking out about her experiences, Jess has highlighted issues that likely resonate with many women in similar positions across various industries. It's also worth considering the broader context of how women in hip-hop media are treated. From radio hosts to journalists to artists themselves, women in this space have long reported facing additional scrutiny, criticism, and obstacles compared to their male counterparts. Jess's experience following Angela Yee's departure seems to reinforce these concerns and raises questions about whether enough progress is being made toward creating truly equitable environments. As we wait for official responses from Charlamagne DJ Envy or iHeartRadio, one thing is clear: The Breakfast Club is at a crossroads. How they handle this situation will not only determine the future of the show, but also send a message about how seriously they take issues of workplace respect and support in an industry that's still working to overcome its problematic history with gender dynamics. For now, Fans will be watching closely to see if Jess returns to the mic alongside her co-hosts, if tensions continue to escalate, or if this marks the beginning of yet another transition for the iconic radio show. Whatever happens, this controversy has already secured its place in the Breakfast Club's storied history of memorable moments, though perhaps not for the reasons anyone would have hoped.